Hey folks, and welcome back to another edition of NASCAR DFS preview. I'm your host Austin with the Sports Chief. So we're going week, I think it's 14 for the Pocono 400. It's going to be really different, and as I say every week, there's a new aero package this year for NASCAR, and Pocono is a big track, so it's over a 2 mile triangular type track. The speeds are a lot slower than what I'm used to. You know, they're like 170 couple in that range, and they're taking 50 some seconds to get around the track, which is quite a bit slower than what they were doing beforehand. So the draft is going to be very key. It's going to be an interesting race, and you know, week to week with this being a new aero package, it's just going to be difficult to pick who you want to pick as far as DFS goes and who you think will be successful. I didn't get a chance to watch the Xfinity race, so I'm not really sure how that went today. But a thing to look at particularly is, you know, Pocono is a track that there's been a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but normally rain plays a factor in this race. A lot of underdogs or Cinderellas kind of won this race. Ryan Blaney won it a few years ago in the 21 Wood Brothers car. Of course, Chris Buescher won it for Front Row Motorsports. So you have to key in that factor. I still think there's going to be some shocking guys to do it. And then one thing that I'm actually looking at is old like Xfinity truck races to see how good these guys are at these tracks, and that's what I was digging through on my stats. So practice speeds, of course, are key, just like every other track. Lap averages will be key also, but I think it's going to be a weird race. I'm not sure if the lead guy will be able to pull out. We'll see, you know, pull out in front of the field. So we'll see what happens. I'll give you my best preview, what I think is going to happen, and hopefully it'll help you in making your own lineup. So let's just take a look at it. As you can see here, Kyle Busch is first in price at 11.4, just like always. Martin Truex starting in 20th at 10.9. Kevin Harvick in 11th. He's 10.5. Brad Keselowski at 10.2. Only got 4 drivers that are above 10K this week, and then Chase Elliott ran 9.9, and then Kyle Larson, and so on and so forth. Looking at this top tier here, it's going to be difficult because Kyle Busch, being that he's starting in second, and last week I kind of went with the strategy. He started in third or so. Thought he would take the lead really early, and it didn't really happen. So we weren't that successful last week. He led some laps, but it's not like that was a winning move. Martin Truex starting in 20th could be a winning move, and I think he will be chalky. I'm going to stay away from him this week. I don't know how he's going to do, and that's just not where I want to go with my lineup. He didn't really fit into what I want to do. Kevin Harvick in 11th and Brad Keselowski 5th. So my personal pick for this race, going into this, looking at these starting spots, I really like Joey Logano this week. He's starting in 16th. His speed's been kind of top 10-ish. The Fords look pretty fast this week with Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and Joey Logano. They look pretty good Team Penske. Toyotas have won the last 3 races, though, so they've been dominant. You know, a few years ago, Chevy was. But I really like Joey Logano this week, and I think that he will run really well at this track. So I'm going to go with Joey Logano as my personal pick. He's starting in 16th. I feel like he'll definitely get a top 10, so that's just passing points for me. And I don't know if there will really be one person that's dominant. I just don't have that thought process in my head right now. Kurt Busch, who actually led the second practice, was fastest in that practice, of course. I really like him starting in 21st. He's very consistent. His price is dropping. He started off on a tear this year, finishing top 10 basically every race for a while. He's kind of cooled off, I guess you could say. But I still like him in 21st, top 15, top 10, man. I feel like that's just automatic. And scrolling down here, I think Ryan Blaney's a great choice. If you don't go Kurt Busch, you got to go Ryan Blaney there at that spot. So as I scroll down here, looking at some of these names, you know, Corey LaJoie starting in 33rd. That's a decent spot for him. He finished pretty well at Charlotte, like 12th or so. Let me see. Let me double check that. Yeah, he finished 12th. So I think this race is going to be interesting. I think you're going to have a decent amount of wrecks, and I think guys that kind of hang out the back. LaJoie was not particularly fast. Wow, can't talk today. Sorry. Corey LaJoie wasn't that fast in practice, but I feel like he may get a top 25 finish. I don't think that's far-fetched. Looking through here, Bubba Wallace, guys like that, David Reagan. All these guys are kind of starting in the same spot, and just to be honest with you, I think their cars are very similar. All these guys, to Benedetto, to Hemrick, speed-wise. So what I'm going to go here, just looking through here, the names. Denny Hamlin's the winningest driver here at Pocono. Ryan Blaney has won a race here. Eric Jones starting 4th. That's just too high for him. Bowman 15th is a pretty decent option. Almirola in 13th as well. One guy I'm going to go with, though, don't know why, but I really like Corey LaJoie this week. Starting in 33rd, he actually won a ARCA race a few years back at Pocono, so he's won here before. I really like him in 33rd because I think he'll get a top 25 finish. So that's my personal opinion on it. He's going to be one of my dark horse picks. And going through the top here, another guy I really like in practice was Chase Elliott. He's starting in 12th. Chase has actually started here 6 times. He's got 5 top 10s. I really like him at Pocono. I think he's just a great driver at this track, and a top 10 seems likely. To get a lot of points there in passing, I've got 3 guys who I think could win this race. And now that I've got 2 spots left open here, one guy I really liked in practice for some reason is Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace actually ran pretty well in the truck race here at Pocono. I'm trying to think. I don't think he won, but he ran a pretty good race. I remember. I can't remember the year exactly, but I really like Bubba Wallace at Pocono, and I think that this race is going to be different. It's going to be weird. There's going to be guys finishing up towards the top that you wouldn't normally see every week. I think it's just those speeds are so low down, in the 170s, and I think the draft's going to be pretty crucial, and I think you're going to see a lot of guys being aggressive, and you're going to see some wrecks. Now that I've got 10-5 here, I could go with Harvick or Keselowski. Brad Keselowski was really fast in practice, and I think I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski. He was just top 5 in average laps. He's top 10 in speeds. To me, him and Logano are my top choices for this week. I think they're going to run really well. So let's clean this up here. Going to go with Brad Keselowski as my 10K driver. Scroll a little down here. Joey Logano. Wait, hold on a second. Skipped one. Chase Elliott there at 9,900 and Joey Logano. I mean, I'm getting 3 guys at 9,500, and I feel really confident about that. And then Kurt Busch, whose value is really high, being he's 21st, and I think he's a guy that a lot of people are going to pick, and I don't want to miss out on that. And I know my value at 5,800 is low. This track is more of a drafting track, and I feel like some of these guys are going to finish up towards the top. My choices are Bubba Wallace, Corey LaJoie. There you're looking at the lineup there. So the Sports Chiefs rolling out. I think you got some guys like Ricky Stenhouse that'll do well, and Chris Buescher's won here in a rain-shortened race. It's going to be tough. Yeah, so that's what I'm rolling out, guys. Maybe you can find something different, but I feel very confident in what we're going with here. Hopefully the Fords will take care of business here in the Pocono 400. If you got any suggestions or what you're gonna do, you can say it below on the YouTube comments there. Check us out on Twitter at The Sports Chief or on Instagram as well. I believe I have that handle on the video here for the comments or in the description. I'm sorry. So hit us up with some questions, man. We try to do everything. We cover a lot of topics. Exciting times at Sports Chief. So hope you have a good night. This will be posted prior to the race, and hope you enjoyed it.